booties for black girl nerds.
Thank you, gentlemen, for this moving movie. I cried a lot of tears.
Oh,
It was beautiful.
I hope good tears. I hope cathartic, happy tears.
Sometimes the bits and pieces. I'm a Californian. People everywhere love their dogs, but here in LA, we love our dogs. And no one thinks about service animals and what happens to them beyond their career or the things that happen to them. Reid, I'm going to actually begin with you. What do you hope people take away from this with dogs that are trained for specific missions, are subjected to trauma? Those are the dark parts of service animals that we normally don't get to see.
Yeah, well, I hope people get to see how extraordinary these dogs are, and that my hope is that by the end of the film, they don't see them as dogs; they see them as brothers, sisters, soldiers, friends, people, really. And that's how the guys that they serve with, their handlers, that's how they see them. And I think the more the world sees those animals that way, the better resources they'll have to transition out into their own version of civilian life. And I just think that they're such extraordinary animals, and the things that we ask them to do are so beyond the our wildest imaginations. The things that they're doing for us as a country. So I think more than anything, it's just we want to shine a light on them and hope people see them for who they really are, as three-dimensional, four-dimensional characters, and not just dogs.
For sure. Channing, for you, life experiences alter us, good, bad, or indifferent. Everything alters us. This was such a moving role to see you in and working closely with this animal. How has this project transformed you? I know you both collaborated on it completely, but it is a very moving and very challenging role to work with the emotions and an animal to boot.
Yeah. We got to sort of like kind of crafting this story from a personal experience. I lost my puppy of like 11 years. I had her from like 6 years or 6 weeks old. So she was my little shadow. She was like, I mean, I would have given my life for her in a second. And the one thing that I loved about my dog Lulu is like she just wanted to be on an adventure. She didn't care what we were doing. She just wanted to be doing something with dad. And that journey came to an end. She got cancer, and we fought to keep her here as long as possible. And then towards the end, I was like, all right, this feels like kind of the last days. And we went on a road trip, and on that road trip, I had a pretty profound experience of just knowing that there's nothing I could do. I had to accept it, and I had to surrender to what this moment was. And came back and explained, what my sort of experience was to my buddy on that trip. And we've been looking for something to sort of direct, and we just love stories in general. And we pull a lot from our own life, and we started to craft that specific story. And when we got to the end of that story, it was really sad, and it was because Lulu has to die in that story. And um, that wasn't really emblematic of really me and my dog's life. Like my dog and I like lived a extraordinarily like joyful, fun adventure, just crazy. Like we were, there was nothing that she wasn't there for. And so we really decided to kind of pivot, and we had done this documentary on war dogs. It was called War Dogs for HBO, and these high level multi-purpose canines and their handlers. And these are soldiers. They're all soldiers, like the dogs and the soldiers that are very specifically just make their makeup is kind of perfect for the jobs that they find themselves into. You can't ascend to that sort of level of a soldier without being kind of born for it and sort of enjoying it. And like you would watch these ultimate warrior kind of guys that are so good at like compartmentalizing their emotions and just getting the mission done. And you watch them sort of melt and turn into like these baby talking like people to their dogs, and you're just like, that's not the ultimate soldier that I just remember, because they're just like, you're so cute, yes you are. And it was incredibly amazing to watch. And like you watch them, these dogs are revered, and for what they give, and offer inside of the unit. They're most times, if not almost always, higher ranked than all of the people in the unit, and definitely they're always higher ranked than their handler. And they're treated as like these sort of just like, I don't know, holy beings inside of the military.
Dogs are awesome. I hugged Billie Jean real tight that night because it's a
Billie Jean's your dog?
yeah.
Oh, that's a great name for a dog.
You know, ironically, he's a soldier of sorts too.
Yeah. Oh. Billie Jean. Oh man, come on. Did you name it from the song?
Of course.
Yeah, I was like, oh, come on. Oh, that's rad. I love it.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. This was a beautiful film, and I enjoyed it very much. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. See you, Billie Jean.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.